you will work the 24th in sickness and in health. And if you want this job, you will not give birth on or about the 24th of December. And I thought, that's a bit fascist. But I could see he was getting a little hot around the collar, so I just said, okay, fine. But secretly, I was thinking, we'll just wait and see. I mean, if I come in here barfing my lungs out on the 24th, this guy's not going to make me strap on a harness and fly around the world. He's got clients who have been waiting all year for him to make one delivery. Who's going to notice if it's postponed a day or two? So, I was thinking it over, no sick days, no vacation days, but it's only once a year. And I'm looking at my calendar and suddenly realize through a moment of brilliance that this is during the holidays. So, I said, so, Mr. Claus, is this scheduled for some time around the 24th most of the time? And he said, no, it's scheduled for exactly the 24th every time. And I said, well, not every year. And he said, yes, every fucking year. Well, I was getting a little pissed off now. And I said, well, excuse me, Mr. Claus, but what happens if this falls during Hanukkah? And I thought that was a reasonable question because most businesses will give you time off to spend Hanukkah with your family. And then he started laughing, that annoying laugh. And he said, "Dancer, one of my reindeer is a practicing Muslim, and most of them are devout agnostics. But on December 24th, you are all Unitarians, because on Christmas Eve, I need Christmas deer to deliver Christmas toys for Christmas Day." Oh, boy, was I embarrassed. Comet was a Muslim at the time. He had just converted to Islam that year. But then, the next summer, he made his pilgrimage to Mecca, and instead of having this great religious experience, he was completely self-conscious the whole time because he was the only reindeer there. And then, when people started asking him what he did for a living, he was afraid to admit that he delivered Christmas toys to good little infidel girls and boys. So, eventually he got embarrassed and had to go home. So, I guess I really have no complaints. Santa's always been pretty fair with me. But I have been with the 8 for a while, and I know I haven't been here as long as some of them, like Dasher or Vixen. But I was here before Hollywood came on, and I was here way before Donner and Rudolph. Oh, but I guess we don't count Rudolph. But if Vixen leaves and Blitzen and Cupid go on strike, then I'll be one of the senior deer. And I was wondering if that means that I get a pay raise, because I think I should after all of this. I mean, when someone gets raped in the workplace, that's a hazardous work environment, right? You wouldn't see this happening if we worked in a bank. At least not during business hours. Or maybe you would. I don't know. I never worked in a bank. I was in a zoo for a while. But the hours were long and the pay was peanuts. Oh, that's just a joke. I've never been in a zoo. I went to a zoo once, and I don't know how those animals do it. It is so degrading. They walk around stark naked and people take pictures of them. And some of them, and I don't want to sound anti-simian, but it's mostly the primates, will play with themselves in broad daylight, and they don't even get tips. Apparently, the zookeepers don't like it when people throw money into the cages. I guess if you're afraid, it's pornography, but if you're just exploited, it's family entertainment. They say that Cupid was a zoo baby. I think that's why he is the way he is. I mean, that's got to be a scarring experience for any young fawn, let alone any child for that matter. And I don't understand people because they complain about gratuitous violence and sex on the television and in the movies, and then they'll turn right around and take their kid to a rodeo or a petting petting zoo. I don't get it. If Blitzen, I'm sorry. I don't mean to change the subject, but if Blitzen and Cupid go on strike, I can't participate. I need this job. I used to be a ballet instructor, and I can't go back to that. You see, there was this movement, and this was before your time, a fundamentalist religious movement that said that reindeer shouldn't ballet. And it was really weird because there were all these people giving sermons and talking like a dancing deer was a sign of the apocalypse or something. I mean, it's not like we were doing modern dance. This was classical ballet. And it was really scary. The only thing I can compare it to is the Holocaust in Germany. It was really scary like that because it came at us from out of nowhere. Deer were being beaten for wearing tights or a tutu. And we didn't know why it was happening, and we didn't know who to trust because some of the leaders of the movement were reindeer. And they burned my studio, and I just had to get out. It was just safer not to dance. And now nobody does. And that is why you have never seen a reindeer ballet. And it's really tragic, really, because some of the best dancers in the world at the time were reindeer. And ballet just comes naturally to a deer. Dancing on point, breathtaking leaps. When you saw deer, pas de deux, they can leap over each other's heads. And of course, some of the intricate tail work is completely gone from the repertoire. Brichnikov still teaches tail work, but it's just not the same. And they used to say that you had not lived until you had seen a beautiful reindeer dance the Nutcracker Suite with a flying stag in tights. I guess people don't live anymore. I'm sorry, I don't mean to change the subject again, but if I don't join the strike, it's not because I don't believe Vixen. That day, well, apparently Blitzen saw her right afterwards, and Vixen didn't say anything, but if you'd seen her, you'd know. Something happened. Or maybe not. Well, Santa doesn't seem like the type to... That whole thing with Rudolph, that's just a story. Santa never... Donner and Santa are very close. I mean... I don't know what I mean. I don't know why I keep coming back to this, but I was out by the toy shop that day, and I guess I thought I heard strange sounds like screams. And I didn't think anything of it because I had heard strange sounds out by the toy shop before. And I just figured it was Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus fighting again. They fight all the time. That woman is just nasty to him, especially if she's drinking. And that is why I don't go to the Christmas office party anymore. I tell him it's because I try to keep kosher, but really, it's because of her. And it's awkward anyways because she's the only one who isn't involved in the Christmas run. She doesn't make toys, she doesn't wrap presents, she just comes to the office party because she's Santa's wife. Ugh. And once she's had too much to drink, which doesn't take long because she usually gets started before we even get back. She's tossing elves across the room and drowning them in a punch bowl. She hates elves. And I don't know why. She hates Rudolph too. And she never liked me. Is there anyone she doesn't hate? She likes Cupid. I'll never understand that because he insults her to her face. He once said the only thing the Clauses have in common are alcoholism, venereal disease, and snowy white beards. I think she were making our first trial run, my sleigh belts weren't fitting properly,